The real difficulty is to overcome how you think about yourself. Words of wisdom from Maya Angelou. So I'm going to talk about something called the Law of Polarity today. And if you've ever heard of it, it's kind of similar to the yin-yang, which I talk about in a lot of my videos. And it's this idea of duality in life, that we have these opposites that create balance in life. But really the opposites, if you think of light and dark, you think of hot, cold, masculine, feminine, day, night, that these are actually, they're all the same, they're just varying in degrees. So we're all human, but we vary in masculine, feminine qualities, right? The thermostat is, the temperature, but it's varying in different degrees. Therefore, when it comes to things like insecurity or how we feel about ourselves or dwelling in our negative emotions, that emotions are all the same, they're just varying in degrees. And we always live in a way where we think that everything is absolute, like, so that's where we're like, all right, I'm gonna feel this way forever, or I suck, right? But if we can think of it from a different angle, then we can realize that all we have to do, really, sounds simple, is to shift the degree of our emotions. So the more you dwell on a negative experience that you're having, the more it's going to be a negative experience. But if you can find something positive on the other side of the spectrum to move that needle up, then that is where you're going to pull yourself out of those negative states. And it's a lot harder than it sounds because we have something called limiting beliefs. These are beliefs that are ingrained in us from when we're young, or just from over time, from society telling us or making us feel that we're unworthy of something, or that, you know, we're never going to be pretty enough or smart enough or rich enough. So that's why this is hard to change. So if you think of balance in life, everything wants to balance out. But we tend to put ourselves on either one side of the spectrum or the other. So the first step is to become aware of which degree, variation of the energy, you're leaning towards. Where are you on this spectrum? Are you more up here? Are you more down here? Are you somewhere in the middle where you can make little shifts? So you have to be aware of where you are. You have to be aware of what your limiting beliefs are. What is really holding you back? What is making you feel stuck? And then the next thing is to start to shift that. So every negative experience, I'll put it this way, every experience, positive or negative, has wisdom in it. So we can learn something from all experiences. Not just good experiences, not just bad experiences, all experiences. So it's taking a negative situation, or what we feel is a negative situation, and looking for the positive in it, pulling out any learning or any wisdom, finding the advantage. It's something also called, from one of my favorite books, Reality Transurfing, the advantage technique. Finding the advantage in a crappy situation, any advantage. Because if you're going to dwell here and never find anything out of it, you're going to always be here on this side of the spectrum. But really, you're making that choice to be on the lower degree. So the third thing is to look at it from an objective point of view, from a neutral point of view, detach. So if you're in a crappy situation right now, or you're in your own thoughts, or you're telling yourself how, I don't know, you suck at life, or you're telling yourself that you're too fat, or you're too ugly, or you can't get this job, or you can't compete, or you're going to be alone forever, or whatever, you have to take a step back and look at it from an objective point of view in order to shift. Because otherwise you're just attaching to your own negative thoughts, and becomes a cycle, it becomes almost like an addiction. So look at it, pretend you're a scientist, and look at it from an objective point of view. And then the last thing is, really important, is to refrain from using absolute words, because your emotions, everything is not absolute, because everything is the same. It's just different, varying degrees, positive, negative, light, dark. When does light become dark? When does dark become light, right? There's all of this middle stuff. So it's all the same. It's just varying. And we as human beings vary day to day. Our emotions vary. Everything about us varies. How masculine or feminine we feel in periods of time, right? We all have everything within us. We can't have one without the other, the yin and yang. So refrain from using words like always, never, nobody, right? Nobody loves me. I'll always be this way. I'll always be fat. I'll always be ugly, forever. Because when you're using these words and you're telling yourself either verbally or on a mental level, you're basically putting the stamp on it. And you're telling yourself that something's absolute when it's not absolute. That's not how life works. Life works in balance. We have ebbs and flows and degrees, and we get hot, we get cold. So if you refrain from using those types of words and try to shift, again, using your awareness, catching yourself when you're using these words, and trying to shift it to lighter language that's not so set in stone, that you don't dig your own grave, right? So these are just things to be aware of. And, something like the Law of Polarity, it's important because the more we think about life and we think about nature and we think about how we have these opposites and dualities in life, then we can start to understand our thoughts a little more and realize that when we're dwelling on ourselves, or we're feeling bad about ourselves, or we're looking in the mirror and we keep rehashing the same story, it's limiting beliefs about ourselves that we've pretty much implanted. So we have to start becoming aware to shift those so that we can move the needle up a little bit on the degrees of the ladder, right? And realizing that nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. Your emotions are not forever. You've seen this, so it's a matter of remembering past times where you've had ebbs and flows, where you woke up feeling really great and the next day you woke up feeling crappy. Like, we get in our heads about it and we seem to think like it's going to last forever. Again, it's using how we talk to ourselves. It's how we talk to ourselves. So if you're always telling yourself that you're unworthy of love, or you're unworthy of a good paying job, or unworthy of money, then what do you think's going to happen in your reality? Your brain is projecting your reality. And you're going to have variations, yes, but the more you keep using the self-talk of using those absolutes that aren't really absolutes, they're just the stories that you're saying that it's absolute when it's not. Life is not, the seasons aren't absolute. We don't have winter forever. We don't have spring forever, right? We don't have daytime forever. We don't have nighttime forever. Otherwise, life wouldn't happen. Things wouldn't grow. Things wouldn't die. Things wouldn't recreate, right? We wouldn't evolve over time. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have the opposites and the dualities in life and the varying degrees. Think of when a season changes, right? It doesn't just wake up, boom, right? We move from spring to winter. Spring to summer would be more appropriate. If we had spring to winter, that would be really, I would really question reality. I'd be like, in New Jersey, it's very feasible because of the seasons right now, and we get like all the seasons in 1 week. But besides that, we'll ignore that little blip that I just made there because, I want to sound smarter than I sounded right there. But think about it. Seasons shift, right? We shift. We go through cycles in life. We don't just wake up and we're 85 years old. No, we have to go through life, smooth flow of life. So it's the same with your emotions, and it's the same with you becoming aware of it. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know. Leave comments below. Subscribe. I put out new videos every single week. I have a podcast that I try to put out every week and a new book out. So I'll put those links below as well. So have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.